Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. I know you're going to be like, is this post-Pittsburgh, pre-Pittsburgh? It's a pre-Pittsburgh episode. I'm just going to let you know that right off the bat. EJ4F B400. Bingo. It's been a while since we made that joke. That used to be like a go-to. Inertia is a real thing when recording YouTube videos. Isaac was already open, so I said to myself, do I want to really go through the trouble of loading up Steam Big Picture Mode and playing Sekiro? And the answer is yes, because that game rules, and it's a small price to pay in order to have a wonderful experience. But I'm going to do it after this video. Inertia's a real thing, dude. It's why, like, I think a lot of people, and I'm trying to build a bit here, so you got to give me the stop and starts, please. Give me a stop and start allowance. It's why I think games with grinding appeal to a lot of people. It's, in general, if I may say, not in my own defense, but to represent my own position, it's why for a long time it's been a struggle, and I guess still is, to recommend new things to me. I already have things I like. One of the best case scenarios for new things is that I like them as much as the thing that I was already watching, playing, or doing, but now with the added benefit of we can talk about it, which varies in value. I don't know, it sounds almost, I don't want it to come across as like nihilistic. Oh dude, that's an amazing item. But like, some people have been using it against me a little bit. They're like, hey, remember NL when you didn't like Game of Thrones, but after you watched Game of Thrones, now you like it a lot? It's true. How do I phrase this without sounding like an idiot or like the world's biggest jerk? Whatever I was doing instead of watching Game of Thrones in the parallel universe where I'd never started watching Game of Thrones, I probably would be enjoying about on the same level as Game of Thrones. That's why, like, people are like, you should really play, you know, X game franchise. The story's incredible. And I'm like, I don't disbelieve it. However, I'm already playing MLB The Show. And I already love waiting to see if the ball's gonna pass through the strike zone, and if it is, pressing the square on the PlayStation gamepad, and then hoping that that sends it out of the freaking park, you know? And I think everybody has their own inertia. As much as I'm putting myself out here and allowing myself, as always, to be the martyr of good opinions, I think bombs are key. I think everybody has their own inertia. Because if they didn't, many games that are thriving right now, that's such a good get for us. Oh, it's such a good get. Would not be able to survive, you know? WoW, Hearthstone, Warframe, Final Fantasy XIV. How would these games survive? PUBG? How would these games survive if it weren't for people taking recommendations and being like, you know, your recommendation is cool, but I've already got like 500 hours in this thing. Like, I can't stop now. I'm enjoying it. So, you know, inertia, it's a real thing. That's why, how else do you think I ended up playing 70 hours of Tetris? 99, that is. Okay, that's an amazing pickup here. Okay, it's all very good. Grab this. Grab this. Dude, that was a solid walk. The only danger with inertia, I guess, in my position, which is not elevated, that's not what I meant. I just meant in the position of someone who's trying to provide entertainment for other people in addition to entertainment for himself, is, you know, you gotta sometimes you gotta bite the bullet and be like, I'm gonna play something new because it will be more entertaining for my audience. It might be more entertaining for me as well. Which is fine. It's been working out. Let's be honest. Okay, grab that real quick. There's our bombs are key. You know, Fish Head is only okay. Let's take Wooden Cross. I thought it was Fish Tail at first. We're going to get the heck out of town here. We're in an amazing position so far. Really improved our rate of fire slightly. Well, actually doubled our damage, essentially. Tech X. Every item we've gotten has more or less been a slapper so far. Plus, we have Holy Mantle once. This is probably... It might be my vote for the most misleading trinket. Not, like, deliberately, like, they lied to us. But, like... You think it's going to be so good because it's like, it's the Holy Mantle effect. And then you're like, for one room, once per floor. It's not terrible. In fact, it's definitely, I mean, it's usable. You're likely to realize the yield from it on any given floor multiple times throughout the game. However, maybe a little bit overrated by virtue of the fact that it has a famous relative, shall we say. Anyway, I'm just saying, I'm not arguing for inertia. 'Cause if you go 100% on inertia, you're never going to try anything new. And that's something I've probably been guilty of in the past. But simultaneously, I don't know, there's pleasure in something new, and then there's pleasure in something old. That's why you got to have both of them at a wedding, right? Something new? Sure. Something old? Of course. Something borrowed? I guess I sort of understand it. Something blue? Why? You know what? Maybe I can actually... This is a good time to Google it. Yo, this is incredible, dude. I actually am willing to give you a bunch of HP here because we have 9 lives, just to see what we might get. I mean, it's great, of course. I think I'll take black powder as well. Why not? Okay, so... Something borrowed, something blue. Alright, let's see. What does this mean? Something, okay, something old is the first line of a traditional rhyme that details what a bride should wear at a wedding for good luck. The old item provided protection for the baby to come. The item borrowed from another happy bride provided good luck. The color blue was a sign of fidelity. What? Okay, well, I mean, it does make sense, I suppose. I mean, it makes sense in that old sense that, like, you know, purple's nobility. But, like, is it, though? Or is it just, you know, is a frequency of light? Anyway, I'm not trying to get too philosophical about it, mostly because I'm incapable of doing so. But, alright, okay. You know, if anything, I'm mad because I expected it to be dumber than that. I expect the king wore blue on his coronation day, so... You know, but instead it was like... I mean, we still use colors to symbolize things to this day. Look at the French flag, for example. Alright, it's our first non-slapper of an item. Still pretty good, though. And we'll quickly check here because we're so interested in the Guppy Dream, and it was well worth it, especially with the Holy Mantle charge. And probably check the secret room as well. And then we'll get the heck out of town. This is great, though. I mean, we're 7 minutes in. We're 3 floors deep. I have, it's tough for me. Well, it's not tough for me. I mean, I'm mostly just using it as a lead-in for the bit, you know what I mean? But, like, I very, very rarely listen to new music. And it's not, I'm definitely not one of those people that has, like, a vendetta against popular music. You know, you always, anytime you're like, I don't really listen to anything made after, like, you know, 2011. You open yourself up to, like, no, it's the children who are wrong, being made fun of like that. That's not really the case. It's more just like I'm full of music. I listen to a ton of new stuff. Probably, like, literally 4 or 5 new albums per week for, like, 8 or 9 years. I'm just... No thanks, I'm full right now. And that's cool, because sometimes there's albums that, even in spite of my fullness, have really, grabbed me, you know? The obvious example that I brought up forever was To Pimp a Butterfly, which is blowing my mind now. People are like, why are you bringing up classic retro hip-hop album To Pimp a Butterfly? I guess, you know, it's the spring of 2019. If you're in 12th grade, that album came out when you were in 9th grade. And as a result, you're like, that's old, Grandpa. Nowadays, people are listening to Lil Pump. I don't know, maybe. What's funny is that Lil Pump is a 2-year-old reference, I think, by itself, so what do I know? Anyway, the point is, it's not, I'm not saying, it's like dessert. Maybe that's a good way to describe it. Is dessert delicious? Usually. Would I enjoy eating it? Maybe. But I ate so much of the main course mere moments ago that it might be unpleasant for me. If anything, I don't need the dessert. What I need is time to digest. I'm still working on the 70s here, dude. We got a long way to go. That's why I respect inertia. Like, people who have been playing the same game every day for like 7 years, that's amazing and admirable to me. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I think people like that should probably be revered as the highest class of, you know, mental titans of society. Maybe win the Nobel Prize for dedication, which is not one that they give out. Much like the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. He's done it. Anyway. Hey, mister. Don't you hit me. I'm just saying. Recommendations are a cool thing. I used to, and haven't been to the item room. Fantastic. I used to recommend music to my friends all the time in high school. The reason I did it was twofold, okay? One was, you're my friend, and it would be cool. Like, I want to selflessly give you this recommendation so that you're listening to cool stuff, because if your life's better, my life's better. And then the other reason was, I want to be the dude who gets a reputation for recommending cool stuff, because it reflects positively on me. Pretty much every single one of those recommendations was just taken from a music blog. And I know you're going to be like, Pitchfork. Nah, bro, this is back in, I mean, yes, many times it was Pitchfork. But this is back in the salad days of music blogs, dude. You got your tiny mixtapes, your stylist magazines, your Village Voice Paz and Jop polls. I know it sounds like I misspoke. Don't blame me, dude. Blame Robert Christgau. So recommendations, you know, they can come in multiple forms. Some of them are selfless and some of them are a little selfish. Listen to this thing immediately so we can talk about. That's selfish. Selfless is like, hey, I think you'd like this thing. I don't know, you don't have time to listen to it right now, that's fine. When you get around to it, you know, hit me up. My 2 C's. Larry King. Hold on, let me caffeinate here. I found myself, I give recommendations oh so rarely now. Because of the golden rule. I treat people the way I want to be treated. And that, dude, let's take this. This will be more fun. So as a result, I mean, it sounds rude, and it like innately is. But I don't know. I think people that give a lot of recommendations, and I might be speaking directly to you at this point, in which case I will not apologize. But they've been getting a free pass for too long. They've dealt in the plausible deniability that giving recommendations to media is somehow that's a favorable act, like they're doing something selfless, like all I wanted to do was introduce my friend to a 60-hour video game that Jim Sterling said was a 5 out of 5, and this is the thanks I get. But you know, in a way, I'm the ultimate betrayer, because as someone who has recommended a bunch of stuff in the past, I understand also the selfish role of the recommendation, which is why I'm able to be the double agent that steps in and goes like, I'm not sure about that. Some people are not full of media. Some people are full of media, you know? Am I full of media? No, I mean, I'm full of some mediums and not full of others. I'm always down for more indie game recommendations, even if I don't take them. You know, people have been like, play Northgard. You know who you are. Play Outward. You know? Maybe I will at some point. Maybe I won't. But I appreciate those recommendations either way. When people are like, you should listen to the newest album that Anthony Fantano gave a 9 to. that's when I have to be like, you know what? I appreciate the recommendation, but it's unlikely to ever happen. I'm still dissecting the mysteries of the streets of Grand Don't Come for Free from 2004. You know? What does it mean when the key shifts on empty cans? I know what it means. I just had to think of a reference coming out of... Anyway. Well, we should use this. And then, I suppose... why not take Mega? You know, it will kill us, but we'll come back. And, I mean, we have enough killing power here to not be in a bad spot. And I'm sure, you know, from hearing this, a lot of people who are probably a decade younger than me are probably saying things like, man, it sounds annoying to be NL's friend. That might be the case. I can't really speak to that. But I would like to think that is actually, like... The thing is... Yes, if you are my friend and you recommend me something, there's a pretty decent chance that I might not make it a priority in my life because I got other stuff on the go. However, I also respect your time as well. It's like, oh good, a shot speed upgrade. As much as I might not be the person who's taking your recommendations to heart and then engaging in that consumption as quickly as possible, I also very, very rarely am the hypocrite that's like, hey, I know I don't take any of your recommendations under advisement, but you guys have got to check this out. If anything, this is going to sound a little too galaxy-brained, and I recognize these tendencies within myself. I'm not really working to curtail them, you know, I'm just kind of... Step 1 is pointing out the bias where it lies, I suppose. Step 2 is doing something about it if you have the desire. But, you know, I'm a very self-sufficient friend. If we don't talk for 4 or 5 years, I'm not gonna be in your mentions or sending you text messages that are like, why don't we talk anymore? I'll be there when you're ready, or I hope you'll be there when I'm ready, but for the most part, I'm living my life, you're living your life, and that's cool. You know, I'm glad that we're both living life. Hold on, are we... Yes, we'll probably do boss rush here then. You know, like... I do, as I've gotten older, I've recognized, like... Whereas before, people were like, I don't like living in Vancouver because it rains a lot and that makes me sad. I was like, I don't get it. I get it now. You know, I make an effort to go outside, get that natural vitamin D, and I feel better as a result of it. Same with getting a little bit of exercise. But, like, sometimes people are like, living in modern life is really isolating, and I'm like, dude, I know, it owns, right? Which is not fair. It's a little bit of a, it's an overly Spartan way of looking at it, for sure, but, for some reason, that has not really bothered me that much. I was actually going to bring it up in the last episode, which is like, you know, when I was talking about not seeing my friends in person all that much over the course of the past few years. I was more just like, I mean, I'm glad that the online ecosystem exists so that, you know, my friends and I can talk to one another, and at least we have, like, you know, voice calls from time to time on the show and stuff like that. But does it not seem insane to you that people, and I'm being sincere here, I swear to you, people the generation before us will call their friends just to talk? Like, people my parents' age, they'll just get a phone call from one of their friends, and then you're like, oh, did somebody die or get sick, or is there, like, are they moving? What's happening? No, they just, you know, it's Saturday, they had time, they just wanted to talk. That sounds insane to me. And I think it is probably a lot of people my age are in a similar boat. My age or younger, at least. Like, if Malf called me on the phone, I'd be like, dude, what's up? And he'd be like, not that much, what's up with you? And I'd be like, not that much, by the way, you know, no hard feelings. I mean, why not take it, I suppose. But, like, why did you call me? And if he said, like, just to talk, I'd be like, all right, cool, dude. Well, you know, are you all right? Like, that would be my first instinct would definitely be, like, something terrible happened and he doesn't want to, he's not ready to tell me what happened yet, but he needs to talk to somebody, in which case, like, I'd be there. But, like, I don't know if that instinct exists for the people younger, or for the people that are, you know, my parents' age. They'll just call, like, without even making an appointment to call. They'll just send a telephone call out of nowhere and be like, "Yeah, I was just wondering what you were up to." I don't know if maybe I'm overstating the weirdness of that. But I did that in elementary school, middle school, high school a couple of times. You know, you look up your friend's number in the phone book, or you get it from the school, and you just give them a call and go like, "Dude, what's up?" You just chat. And it's nice, you know, I guess. At the time it was. But now I'm like, dude, just send me a text. You just call me out of the blue? That's like an act of aggression. The only people allowed to call me out of the blue are telemarketers who then leave a voicemail in Chinese telling me I need to report to the embassy immediately or I'll be thrown in jail. Those are the only people that I allow to call me on a regular basis. I also have another, I keep getting a call about once every 3 months from a spa. And the spa goes like, "Hey, Susan, your appointment's tomorrow." And I don't know what to do about that. I guess, like, I know what to do about that. I'm just... It's not really lazy. It's just that you know, if you had nothing going on in your life, it would be lazy. But because I work, I'm like, well, I could call them and be like, "This isn't Susan's number." Or I could just keep mining it for enjoyment because it maybe one day will lead to some good anecdotes. Like one day I'm gonna get some letters that are like, "Hey," or I'm gonna get a voicemail that's like, "Hey, Susan, you know, I saw you canoodling with my husband at the Cactus Club Cafe last night. Just because you never respond to my voicemails doesn't mean I don't know where you are, Susan." You know? So I'm kind of hoping that happens at some point. Also, I'm going to keep rattling off the numbers that are one number off of mine until I find Susan, and then I'm going to invoice her. I'm going to be like, "Hey, Susan, my time's worth $3.65 an hour, and I've spent 15 minutes listening to these voicemails, so you owe me a small coffee at Tim Hortons. How do you feel about that, Susan? Plus, stop canoodling with the spa manager's husband at the Cactus Club Cafe. I know they got a dynamite tuna stack, but simultaneously that's behavior uncouth and not conducive to good friendship, Susan. By the way, have you considered listening to the most recent Death Grips album, Susan?" I shouldn't have used Mega there. That's obvious. Like a birthday on a pretty view. See, I mean, Duran Duran's Rio, 1986. Now, there's an album, dude. I'm still trying to digest what they mean in that album. Girls on film. What does it mean, Basil? Anyway. It's actually like the opposite of exhausting, I think, being my friend. I demand almost no attention or maintenance. Like, if friends were pets, which is a really strange way to think about it, but I would be like a goldfish, you know? You can come in, check on the goldfish, give me some food, that's fine. But if you go, "Hey, goldfish, do a trick. Listen to the new Kendrick Lamar album." The goldfish, he's just gonna keep doing his own thing. He's just gonna keep swimming around. And then one day, you're gonna go to the fishbowl, which is my YouTube channel, and, I'll be floating upside down. That's the way she goes, brother. Other friends, you know, I got friends that are like, and they're friends of mine. It's not a bad thing, you know? They're people I've chosen to spend my time with. But some of my friends, you know, they're like cats. They largely want to be left alone, but occasionally they're like, "Hey, give me attention right now." And you're like, "Yo, bro, cool story." And then I got some friends that are like dogs, that are like, "Take me for a walk right now." And I'm like, "Yo, bro, cool story." And I got some friends that are like, you know, hamsters. They're eating their infants. You see, I didn't really know where to go with that one. I thought maybe just, you know, self-aware. I was like, let's put a ridiculous punchline at the end of that, and then we'll call out the fact that it's a ridiculous punchline, and then we'll be able to pivot to something else. But now I'm at this point where I'm like, I don't even know what to pivot to. We're in like an adaptation sort of state of self-awareness where I don't really know where to go from here. You know what I mean? I do see the spirit hearts, don't get me wrong. I was just hoping, like, at some point we might be able to kill some more enemies. Might I say, my pre-Pittsburgh runs today, in the pre-Pittsburgh era, really appreciate the fact that they've been largely pretty easy. Homing Tears Mom's Knife is not fantastic, but everything else about this run is coming up bacon right now. You don't know that reference? That's from Growing Up Bacon. This is Kevin Bacon's band. You don't know? Oh, you don't like music? Boy, have I got a great album for you. It's called I Am Not a Human Being by Lil Wayne. I'll tell you what, I'll listen to whatever nerd album you want me to listen to. Oh, My Bloody Valentine came out with a new album. Cool. But you gotta listen to Through the Fire by Kevin Federline. You know, it's tit for tat. What? Oh, your recommendations are better than mine? Just because you got them off of /m/Mew. That's the one. Dude, I was so close to having some street cred with the internet generation, and I friggin' threw it away. Just because I get mine from Rolling Stone, all of a sudden, I'm a piece of garbage. I'm a sheeple. I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. That's from The Blueprint by Jay-Z. Look it up. Anyway, easy runs. So the moral of the story from today's episode is don't talk to your friends. No, that's obviously not what I'm getting at. I don't know what I'm getting. I'm just getting... This is who I am, I guess. Please let me through the door. We've gotten so many chests for having a terrible luck stat. Like, with negative luck, somehow we're still getting a chest per room so far, roughly. And apparently it don't stop. We only got one key, so, I mean... It's gonna stop one way or the other eventually. Yo. Joker? Guppy was what I meant to say, but I didn't say that. Pair throw. We do have items available. I mean, this run, we know we're good. Like, I don't want to bury the lead here, make it seem like we're in a bad spot. We're obviously totally fine. I didn't even open this chest before. That's a great per throw opportunity, so let's go back and snag this. Chocolate Milk Mom's Knife, is that a damage upgrade? Or it, I mean, obviously it was a Tears upgrade there. And by obviously, I mean after the fact I knew it was a Tears upgrade. But I thought maybe it was like Chocolate Milk Brimstone, which is a damage upgrade. Anyway. I'm happy, you know, I can officially say, I guess, at this point, that, you know, after a loss to rattle off 5 wins in a row is not impressive, but it's more impressive than what happens most of the time, which is we lose and then immediately lose, like, you know, maybe 4 times in the next 10. So, I wouldn't say I'm proud of myself, especially the last 2 runs have been very, very easy. But, all we can really do is work on our win count, right? You know, like, the streak is almost like a secondary measurement. Like, the streak is what you want to get, but how do you get your streak to be higher? You play better. How do you measure if you're playing better? I think it's by number of losses, you know? Like, you could have, or number of wins, I guess. You could have an amazing Corsi stat in hockey, and your team could be garbage. But if your Corsi stat is improving, it means that you're probably getting better as a player. You know what I mean? Like your batting average in baseball or something like that. So as long as our win rate's going up, just because the streak hasn't gotten there yet due to some pretty ill-timed runs, life goes on. Hey, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!